because I ended up cutting in after we had talked for a bit anyway. I think that's a
Yeah.
better way to
So I'm just commenting
rock
on
with it.
Ryan. Like since I last saw him, he did not have this manly beard going on there. So it's a good look.
Well, your wall has never looked gayer.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Economy of Nothing podcast. Well, probably not welcome back because you probably didn't listen to the first episode. But speaking to people that didn't listen to the first episode, joining us for the first time, Mike Allen. Hey there, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. And now rounding out the crew, he's got a new look that he's sticking with. Ryan, how you doing?
Yeah, I've decided, although this is an audio-only podcast, that I'm going to wear, like, the same garb as a character on a television show would, a cartoon, you know? They have, like, one outfit. And I'm just going to, like, put on my vest every time we record.
And I really appreciate that because every time I've been talking about this show with Mike Allen, he's like, and then Mr. Green changed his outfits. And I'm like, Mike, we don't have the time. Can't be drawing new
Listen, it
outfits
took
for
me a
everybody.
while to realize that you weren't going to make any changes after you had already instituted them.
That is true and real.
Well, it was. Well, when a lot of the thing about the characters originally, right, is that there's like one's blue, one's red, one's green, and one's like a different color of green. But like it was very like specifically like that for a while, so that they were readable. Before like my art style was readable, the characters had to be readable as like just like colors that you could like identify.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
And then,
like the Power
yeah,
Rangers.
well, that's. I don't, the what? No, I've never heard. No, I'm not doing the clue thing again. I have heard of the Power Rangers.
Dude, who's your favorite Ranger, though? Sorry.
But, no, that's okay. I mean, well, I wear my glasses now, so I can say that it's Billy. But obviously, as a kid, I didn't say that because, you know, I was cool.
Billy?
That's crazy.
Billy was your favorite
I would have said
character?
the Yellow Ranger.
Yeah, I'll do pink, bro. She's not a shit.
Well, like, but I mean, Blue, like, they were all like the same, like, were they different people?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Mike,
Like, I
some
don't
of them
remember-
were women.
I remember, my remembrance is that they really, really wanted me to like the Green Ranger. And I remember liking him at first, and then he got, like, when he was bad, he
Yeah,
was
it's
cool.
Terminator.
But didn't he become like a white Power Ranger? That's kind of suspicious, no?
So, I actually know we're going to know way
Let
too
the man
much about
talk.
this, and then I think we'll get back to the show. But Tommy starts the show in the Power Rangers as the Green Ranger, and then I believe he gets up to the White Ranger, and then the Red Ranger goes away, which is Jason, and he comes back as like the Black Gold Ranger. And then at this point, I was way too old to be watching Power Rangers, and I stopped watching. So, yeah.
But isn't that a problem? He
That-
became the White Power Ranger at some point in his career. That's like a sordid past that needs to be addressed. And probably it's a cancelable offense or something.
He should have looked at the camera and winked at some point. I think that would have made it okay if he had been like, "Oh, not that kind of white
Hey,
power."
is
And we
that
all
how
would
we're
have
going
been
to feel about the Skull Pirates on the show? Like,
Listen,
Good question.
I think there's something to be said. Like, not all skulls are pirates. You know what I mean? And not all pirates are skulls. I think is something we should, you know, consider in the economy. I think they have different codex pages.
I don't think I know enough
So,
about these pirates.
I would like to
honestly.
inform Ryan about the upcoming anniversary and celebrating the Skull Pirate episode. You know, for the 25th time. Right. Yeah, I'm not 25th season.
Well, I was like, I've been so focused on this for too long. I was like, oh, maybe there is. Did I miss? Did I miss an
I wanted to
anniversary?
pitch the idea of deep space scurvy, and Mike had a really hard time going along with it. But that's why they
Yes.
became pirates, is because they got like lack of vitamin C in deep space. And they're like,
it's to me. It's like the Oregon Trail. What's that?
Yeah.
Like dysentery on the Oregon Trail.
Dysentery.
That's kind of iconic.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think we could do? And I think we had originally talked, I had thought maybe we'd go into some old business and then maybe some new business. But I think one of the first, maybe what we should do is just get into talking about the episode guide page. Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the episode guide. How does that
sounds
sound,
great.
everybody?
I've got it up right here.
Audience,
You're
would you
brilliant.
like to play along at home? Go to economyofnothing.com/shows and then click on the animated series one. I can't remember what it's of.
Oh, real quick. So earlier, I clicked economy and nothing, and it took me to an all white page, and it just had the episode list, and it was just like this really old Word document. And at the very bottom of the page, it was like, "You're the first person to visit this site," and I was just like, and I hit like a different button, and it took me to this page, and I was like, "Does that always happen?"
Mike, agents are coming to your house right now. Get out.
You went to a page and it was all white.
Yeah,
After we had the
I just
white
saw the Matrix in
white
front of-
Power Ranger
yeah.
debacle. This is getting so awkward.
If you've ever seen the Berkshire Hathaway email letter that's sent out by Warren Buffett every year, it's like the most basic, like just basic website that you go onto if you go on their website, and that's what it looked like, but in our episode format. So what is this?
Cheyenne would never.
I'm pretty sure we're talking. It was probably just a base HTML. I was probably like updating the CSS or something. Oh, I'm a computer genius also. Anyway,
Yeah, the audience definitely knows about that.
Hey,
okay. Well, I'm clicking on.
I.e. your ego.
So let's all remember as we do this. This is our first time doing it too. But this is an audio medium mostly. So let's make sure we're describing what we're talking about.
for sure.
hey, the film that was a dig at
Okay,
me.
so-
assholes.
No. Because I thought maybe I hate reading aloud, so I thought maybe someone else could read aloud. Or if does someone have a question? What does anyone think Cowboys versus Pirates is about? Do you guys have any concept? The first episode is called Cowboys versus Pirates, and the episode description, which I do not know if it's accurate, which I have not read in a long time.
No,
Who
do we
would
have
like to
Ryan
read?
read it? He has such a soothing voice after listening to episode 1. I like it.
Honestly, I was disturbed. I could tell that Mike had done some editing on the audio because I was like, my voice does not normally sound like this.
Yeah.
It's normally, in my opinion, much more grating and like
You like
offensive.
emphasize when you would use words like brilliant.
No, okay.
No, Ryan, that was so much more you than you think it was. I didn't do. I just cut down for time because you got to get it under a minute.
That's crazy. Yes, okay, so I can read this, but per what you were saying, I kind of know that we've talked about the first episode before, but now seeing Cowboys versus Pirates, I'm thinking of the Jets versus the Sharks.
But you need to
Okay,
read the
that's what I'm
description.
thinking.
West Side
I need
Story.
you to read the description.
Yeah, I'll read the description, but I'm just like
Mike
I'm
Allen
just giving
can't
a
read.
suggestion.
Could you please help?
I'm just giving a suggestion. Okay, ready? The Economy of Nothing. Episode list 1. Shut up.
No, you have to.
Wait,
This is the voice. You're gonna voice over the entire
okay.
codex.
I
Yeah,
did.
do it,
I'm
do
not
it.
voicing the entire codex. Okay. The Economy of Nothing. Episode list. Episode 1. Cowboys versus Pirates. A new idea. The Moonshine crew heads to Brenner 7, a corporate cowboy planet, to take their first dispatch job. They clash with space pirates and meet a mysterious robot sheriff, setting the stage for their ongoing struggle against a rigged system. Capitalism. The oppressor
First
class.
thought. Whoa.
Oh, sorry, the extra-
Excuse me. As CEO of Nothing Inc., I would like to do not represent what we believe here
The
necessarily.
CEO of Nothing Inc. So you're going to be both the pro tag and the an tag.
I had to name it something, and I didn't want to put my name on it.
So
It's iconic.
this is the episode when there's a sniper or somebody's in a town.
Yes, this is the episode. So what I will probably have to do for some people as a little bit of a companion piece is probably go to the YouTube page, probably the most recent video when this podcast comes out. I'll have the little storyboard. I know you guys have seen some of it, but since this is a audio medium, but yes, so this is the one you're thinking about.
Great. And okay, so wait, what do you want to discuss about it? Like the plot of it?
I shouldn't have killed you like that. My bad. Yeah, no. So this is where you might have seen some you might see some footage on YouTube. They go down to an old West cowboy planet, and there's a standoff between the captain, Mars, a bounty hunter, and Butterfly, and what's the other guy's name? Grasshopper, the two bounty hunters. So if you looked at the picture on the page, you would see those four characters represented. And this is a sketch I did that I then created as a 3D model that I took a screenshot of and then ran through a different thing trying to get it to match the other style I'd done. So it's a concept art, but it's based on a screenshot.
Pretty
Okay,
cool
so the
screenshot, I
planet-
might add. Pretty cool.
the planet is full of cowboys. Okay, I get it as a cowboy planet. So then what are the pirates? They're the bounty hunters? Just
Right. So
marauders?
this is where we probably need to get into the story of episode 1, right?
Yeah, let's say. I agree.
Okay. So something boring happened. There were trade routes to Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this episode 1.
Genre. Wait,
Okay. So
I just remember
the
this.
the
We go to like a planet. There's a sheriff robot with a cool cowboy hat, and it's kind of like one of those Fallout robots.
yes.
And it like wants to make friends with us. And then there's also a trash heap somewhere. We get trapped in it at some point.
Yes. All right. That's more than every single other person on Earth knows, unless you can beat it, Ryan.
I cannot beat it, but I like Mike's use of the word "we."
Dude,
I would not be
all my
caught
He's
dead on
inspiration
this
just
cowboy
goes
planet.
right
He's
into
re-
Mr.
he's-
Green. I just like
Yeah.
so Mr. Green's
I
biggest
appreciate-
complaints is he always wants to get home for dinner time. That's fair.
Damn.
So something we'll have to break down in the like overall script when we get into it. But so they've taken their first mission. It's a dispatch mission. They're going to the planet Brenner 7, which is a cowboy planet that used to be an amusement planet. It used to be like a Westworld, but a planet. They used to have like the company bought the idea of cowboys at some point, and so they had this planet, but cowboys fell out of favor, so they started dumping trash there.
The Cowboys
And
fell out of favor.
There was a
Ryan, you need to say all this?
yeah, right. They just like I don't know. They weren't popular anymore. I don't know. What are they going to do with the Disney Star Wars Land
I
hotel?
immediately go.
You know what I mean?
I immediately go to that movie with Daniel Craig, Cowboys versus Aliens or something. Remember when he has a clean the bottle?
No. This is a new idea. Did you read the second half of the?
Honestly, did.
Oh, right. Yeah, totally. No idea. Yeah.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Yes. So like that's where that's where the title of this comes from, right? Is the idea of the title of it is like that movie Cowboys versus Aliens. Two things stuck together, right? And so I was like, all right, go to space, but it's cowboys, right? But that's not a very original idea. So then I was like, pirates. And I was like, that's not original enough. Giant insect bounty hunters. That's not original enough. One of them is not actually a giant insect. It's a guy in a suit that looks like an insect.
I think
you know
in
what I
this
mean?
version when we created it on the phone, my wife was supposed to be a grasshopper lady, but had like 8.
You know, this is sounding more and more like fanfic. It's crazy.
So did you not listen to the first podcast, Mike? This is a family friendly show.
No, the movie.
But
It's not Rescue Rangers and the Predator.
This is gonna be a
Uh-oh.
fight.
Oh, this is the juice I'm looking for here. I can't have these fights in my head. Okay, so does anyone have like questions about that general concept?
Well, I mean, I think part of what I'm remembering, which might be helpful for an audience listening back to this,
Well,
is
yes,
that like
I think everything would be helpful for an
is that like
audience.
the tour of the universe and the economy of nothing is kind of, from my understanding, like different snippets of Americana or other like scaffoldings for ideas. So Americana could be one version of it. So like, what's more American than apple pie and cowboys? So I think that that's like kind of the take, that there's like the themes that were metaphor allegory that's being used, is that each episode would presumably like go through some kind of like chunk of a life that's been like misremembered kind of from like a past that they can't revisit.
Yes, there's something to the economy of. Oh, sorry, Mike. I'll let you go in 1 second. Except for there's an idea that like cowboys used to run TV, and I'm like, there's something wrong with TV. What used to work on TV, old cowboy shows, but we can't do them like we used to because,
Hey,
Mike.
Mr.
Sorry.
Green, sharp as he can be here. Ryan, if you could tone down all the big words a little bit, right?
Like Americana.
Dude, it's just everything. It's like you have a dictionary of the new word of the day. I don't know them all, I just don't. It's like I didn't know I could almost gonna
sorry.
even be able to answer that.
Okay,
Moment. That's
so
crazy.
I think is that not what you're saying, Ryan? Is like the idea of like the cowboy is like a classical American archetype?
Yeah, like I think that part of the reason for this project, from my understanding, is like spoiler alert for future episodes, people. Mike has something to say about burn notice. So like, there's gonna be an episode that's set in a planet that is Miami, like because and it's gonna be some detective thriller or
Spoilers.
something. Like, yeah, that there's just like things in America and elsewhere that you want to comment upon, and like one of those things is Cowboys, or like the rendition of Cowboys in media.
So I guess my question is any of that like too rote or too stupid, or like, is that idea good to go? I guess is my question to you guys as like a setup for a thing they have to do in a place they have to go. There's been a distress call on a cowboy planet and no one's responding, so they go to respond to it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think it works. I mean, I think it's like, well, what do you want to say in the episode about your characters?
Right.
Which is the next step.
I'm just having a hard time, like, because
Okay, no, this is good. Tell me what the hard time is, because I don't know how to walk anyone through this.
I like the episode. I don't think every episode has to define character arcs or anything. I think the first episode should just be like a fun, here they are, you learn about it as it's going on. You know what I mean? Like,
So you want to talk more specific plot elements of the like beat by beat, what, because I think I have an idea of beat by beat what
I would love
happens in
to
the
hear it.
episode. You guys want to
yeah,
talk
I'd
about
love to
that?
hear it.
Okay, so there's a question about whether the show opens with cold opens and what they are, but for the basic beat of the show, so they're going to the dispatch, and the captain and Mr. Green are having the final bit of their argument discussion about like taking distress calls or not, right? Because as we've discussed, and we will discuss a lot more, Mr. Green has his reasons for thinking that they should take different types of calls for different types of work. He wants to take like salvage jobs because he thinks they're going to pay better. But because, at least in the draft right now, because of the previous mission that's kind of highlighted in the theme song, the captain got the piece of data that got them on the front page of the leaderboard. So that's why he's like, no, you got to go with me this cycle because I did the thing last time, right?
Idea that distress calls maybe don't have like a kind of valuation that's established yet. Maybe that's one of the reasons why Mr. Green is not as into them, because if something's a distress call and it goes into dispatch or whatever, they're not like, this will be 1,000 credits, because they don't know like what the job is worth, I guess.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why Mr. Green is like, why would we like do this job that could be worth 5 credits instead of 1,000,000 or whatever?
Yeah. So,
But then the captain just wants to anyway because it's the right thing to do.
so I think in my mind, the captain always. So you got to remember, it's the economy of nothing, right? So like nothing matters. It only matters to you based on what you want, right? So Mr. Green wants more money. The captain wants more thing. Essentially, Mr. Green thinks that the captain's way pays less when there is a guaranteed return of this, right? And I just think that the whole point of the show is how, as time evolves and episodes arise, that each of them, in their own way, every character in their own way, starts to figure out their, they think they haven't figured out, but it's all nothing, you know? It's the world we live in. All of this is nothing. It's just, but we all play the game.
Like that Mr. Green realizes that the like going for money means nothing, and
Yeah, but that won't
the
be till,
captain
like,
realizes that
he's
fame
been
means nothing.
40, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
And what do the
Well, I
kids
think there's-
realize?
Was that?
What do the kids realize? What do the Rangers realize? Or do they not have
I don't
aspiration?
I have a patronizing thing to say to kids, which is I don't think they're realizing anything yet or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know what it is, but it's like if we're talking like episode 1 plot things happening, if anyone has a plot problem, the captain's making them. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like they don't get to have motivation because this is an economy where kids have to work. So sorry, no motivation for you yet. But they're excited for the job because hey, they're kids. They like the idea of helping people, and it's a cowboy planet. They're excited to go to a cowboy planet, right? And then they're disappointed when it's a cowboy planet that's in disrepair and like a dump, right? All right, nods don't work because this isn't
Yeah.
like
Well, no, they're also just excited to go through space too, right? Because of another spoiler alert is like they haven't grown up here in this time.
Which I think
Yeah. So like I think we can get them through on just like having to do it, like liking the captain and Mr. Green, and like just general excitement about like being rangers on a
harmless.
space
That would-
adventure, right? Like
that works.
For sure, for sure.
so the idea is they would show up and it would kind of be you know, all, you know, shattered and what's the word I'm looking for? In shambles? I don't
Defunct.
know. What does a city do? Defunct? So it'd be defunct, and of course that's where we could tell what's happening, you know, they could have a little dialogue. And that's when the standoff between Mars the bounty hunter and then the two freelancers, Butterfly and Grasshopper are there, right?
Yeah, and it looks like one of them is a woman. Should we talk about that at all, or are you
Yes,
comfortable
well,
having a
there
woman
was
on your show?
concern. There was concern that there wasn't going to be any women on the show.
Mhm.
So I wanted to lay to rest as soon as possible that there are in fact going to be women on the show. Now, I'm a little concerned that we've looped all the way back around to like Batman and Robin, and it's like, are we sure this isn't homophobic? Like, are we sure they're like, I think women need to be around because I don't think all these men should be hanging. Like I don't know if you know, in the 1966 Batman or whatever, they added some lady, I can't remember what she's called. Like an aunt just came to live with them all because they were like, I think it's a little too weird that all these men are.
They were roommates.
Yeah, but you weren't allowed to have roommates in the whatever 60s or something. I don't know.
Well, we can have an episode.
Seems like they had
about
a
it.
lot of roommates in
Well,
the 60s.
hey, quick question. The Gilmore Girls? No. What's the Granny show?
Oh, the
Yeah.
Golden Girls.
Were they all lesbians? Was that the implication? Or were they just
No, I don't think
No,
so.
one of
I-
one of them did date.
I've
One of 'em did
never.
date. No, two of them dated.
I think they were lesbians in like a Family Guy
You think
skit.
they scissored?
But like, no, I can't imagine that's what that show was about.
Do you think they scissored?
Wasn't that on to like regular TV or something?
Yeah, it was
They
on
wouldn't have put
regular
that on
TV. I
regular
think they were
TV.
just regular ladies.
Come on, guys.
But they,
Guys,
Just old ladies.
Golden Girls.
They were-
That's funny. Like, to be last here. All right.
I appreciate it. I think that they should have been lesbians. I think we need a remake where they're lesbians.
Would you watch them
exclusively.
scissor? I probably would. It does. Yes.
Scissor? This is a family-friendly
No, it's
podcast.
not.
Wow. No, Mike. I would not like to watch them run with scissors. That would be dangerous.
That would-
Always walk with scissors and hold the sharp parts in your
Also,
hand.
no one's gonna listen to this.
This has been a PSA. Okay. So like so this is the real question that like I want to get into on this like actual episode of the podcast. So, like, how do we do this? Right? Of like, what do we need to discuss to like make things happen like in a schedule, right? And do I need to bring like questions every week, or do we like need to like work on something together, work on something alone and bring it together? Like,
I
do you guys
curse
have
on
any
Ryan.
any
You should
thoughts,
let
Mike?
Ryan. Like, I think Mike Badal should do the story structure, like what he wants at the beginning, middle, and end, and maybe whatever plot points, and then have Ryan do the intricate details, because that's what you're good at.
This sounds like an organization, babe.
I will
Oh.
oversee it and just agree with
Give
whatever
final
Mike Badal
approval.
said.
You know what? I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but that last little bit sounded pretty good.
Well, yeah, Mike, I think
I
it's
think-
difficult because it's like your concept, really. At the end of the day, like what you want to have said in the show or covered in the show. And I think that you have like the vision.
He does. I mean,
As far
he's
as I
the
could
he's
Yeah,
the Mark
so-
Zuckerberg over here, Bob. Old gentleman.
Yeah, great.
great.
That's how I prefer to think
I
of
thought
you.
I was going to be a good guy,
Like,
but I guess not. Or allegedly. I don't sue me, Mark Zuckerberg. Get f***ed, Mark Zuckerberg. I'll bleep that out, but I stand by it probably.
You have to learn more of them.
No, so like so that's why I think I mentioned this to you guys before about thinking about this like at some point as like some sort of like RPG. It's like I have all these pieces. I just need people to like move through it with me. And like, but the answer isn't to like just like write the script line by line, because that's just not like a scalable way to do it, and that's not a fun way to do it, and that doesn't let it, like any of our fun interactions like play along with what's going on, right? So like that. So one of my thoughts originally had been like, maybe we should go through the codex and lock down a few characters, and then just put them in a situation and just play with them for a bit. Was one of my other ideas.
Yeah, we can do that. Or I can set the scene of how it starts, and then you guys can start running with it. And then when we get stuck, I can set another scene. Your call.
Okay. So like, all right. So let's talk
Okay,
this scene.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, so opening.
The cap.
Well, I thought you didn't. You
What?
made it seem like you didn't know the opening. You were going with it. You know the opening.
Oh, I
You
thought you
know
said you
the
wanted
opening.
to set a scene.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I do know.
Do you want me to speak it for you?
So here's
Do you want me to
What's
speak
that?
what I think the opening is? Instead
No.
of then speak it.
And that's the real. Okay. All right, you go.
You're-
All right. I'm sorry. See, this is the problem. I'm talking too much. I'm trying to steer it, but the thing I need to see where it's
Okay.
going. I don't know. I'm messing.
No,
with
it's
it.
fine.
Okay.
I'm not mad at anything. I just want to set the scene, and there it goes. Boom. Right. They always.
Ryan's mad.
I am fuming.
I know. It's like he didn't use juxtaposition one time and all that.
Oh, drink.
Yeah. Anyways, opening the scene. Cowboys versus Pirates. A new idea. As always, it always starts out at the Nothing Corporation. Or it doesn't, right? We are on the planet, and then it either has to start or end back at the Nothing Corporation, right? Because it's like headquarters. Obviously, there's cases where that doesn't happen, but for the most part, that's the formula. I think here, because it's the first episode, naturally, because of the way I like TV shows, I'd want to do office setting first, but I know Michael don't thinks that it would be better if we were out in the world and like walking, moving to the town, knowing that there's 2 bounty hunters out here. There's dialogue happening that is non-related to like what the mission is, like, and you're getting to know the characters. Like, let's say Captain Tracy's walking down a hallway, not a hallway, just an alleyway to the town, right? And Mr. Green's right next to him, and they're just bull about their lives. You get to know the characters, right? And then everything pops off, yada yada yada. We're at the town. There's a shoot off. I don't like the ground stomper for some reason. We say some quirky lines, and then bada bing, bada boom. Something about a robot helps us find some trash. The trash people are in labor camps, and there's something about the Vord economy there that is similar but different, and we try to help them out, but then we can't. And then I think Cheyenne's there, and then there's another girl there that's the captain's love interest, and she like undoes his handcuffs and gives him a blowy or something. And then because the captain is also secretly inspired by that, he's also like a sex addict. So like it's never going to be said, but he like the implication is that the captain is constantly getting laid throughout the show, and that's why Mr. Green like kind of hates him a little bit, because it's always he gets out of situations to the luckiest shit ever, and it statistically shouldn't work, but it does every time, unless it does. And
I think
Mr.
the
Green
captain would
steps in
argue that the
and
statistics
fixes
are in
it
his
for him,
favor.
but he takes all the credit for it because he technically didn't break his code, but somebody broke the code for him, and that's what happens in this episode, right?
Yeah, so I think, well, 2 things there. One, I think I just got the idea. The thing I need is like we need to talk about character motivations, right? Because the thing I can't come up with on my own, it's like everyone's opinion of everything is like too hard for me to think of. Like, you know what I mean? Like outside of like the narrative, like what does like one of the Rangers think about like. Well, I guess that's about it. What does Mr. Green think about the Cowboy Planet? Is the question I don't know the answer to, right?
I think I remember that this was my brother-in-law, and he was just
I do remember that.
yeah, and I never liked him or something.
I have
Wait,
a
so the
question.
pirates
And
are Mr. Green's like laws?
Okay, so real lore jump real quick. Okay, so the Skull Pirates are there. They go after like trash. They're trying to get like old DVDs or whatever, right? So they've ended up at the on Brenner 7, the Cowboy Planet, because they're there to like dig out the old garbage that the corporation threw away perfectly good stuff, but since they couldn't sell it, it was cheaper for them to throw it away, right? So the pirates are there to get it out, but in the time they ended up taking people from this one town to go dig all this stuff up. So that's what the captain and them are going to have to eventually go do. But at first, there's the standoff with the freelancers who are there to get the bounty on the captain, on the pirate captain, not the captain. I assume they can have a bit of confusion
Captain
about that at
T.
some point.
Wait, so how many factions are there? There's the Cowboys, there's the pirates, there's
Okay,
the
Cowboys,
the Ranger
pirates,
crew, Captain Tracy's
the
crew,
Moonshine crew.
the Moonshine
Hit
crew, and then
Butterfield.
there's also freelancers as well.
Yeah, so then the freelancers, and technically then Mars is part of the Thieves Brotherhood. So I guess is that too many factions?
There's a
5
lot
factions, too many
happening in this
factions?
Yeah,
episode.
but I mean, that's the point, right? Like it's like it's like Oblivion and Starfield and all that bullshit.
I mean,
there's a million.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
Yeah,
can
like
be fun. You know that scene from Key and Peele? I just rewatched it yesterday. It was like recommended to me, where there's like the shoot off, the standoff,
Yeah.
where they like rip off their faces. They're like each other and stuff, and they're going through all this. I think that it could be fun if it's like completely hazardous and confused, and there's like 7 different factions there, and like each one is topping
Yes.
the next.
Yeah.
So the original idea is the reason there's a standoff is because the captain goes up there's like, what's going on? The pirates, the freelancers think that Mars is working for the pirate captain, which are like, oh no, I used to work for him. And then captain's like, yeah, I knew her back when she was a such and such other thing I can't remember. And she's like, oh well, no, I'm in with the Thieves Brotherhood now, right? Because someone's either been working with someone forever, or every time you see them, they've had 3 other jobs since.
Yeah, and
So-
also the person he's talking about is the girl that like banged in or something. So like that character is gonna save him. So like, and he swaps.
Look at this.
Oh my
shit like that.
God.
She doesn't want you because the captain's love
Yes.
interest was that the captain came back from retirement because it wasn't fulfilled. Yada yada yada, and then
Well, you're confusing the dog with the love it.
but then the dog also leaves you. There's been a lot of iterations to the captain. I remember that. Yeah, the dog ends up.
But they're all sad and
Yeah, like
shit.
Mississippi becomes sentient, leaves you, and won't forgive you for being like its master, like because you yelled at it too much or something. I remember that a plot point. It'll
Yeah, well, I think that particular plot point right now is that it's not so much that it's that they have like an amicable breakup where it's like, oh well, their lives are just going in different places or something, but it wasn't really amicable. You know what I mean? It's a weird nebulous thing. But instead of someone being like, this isn't what it's like with your ex-wife or whatever, I'm like, yeah, it's like what it's like if your dog became sentient and like left. It doesn't make any sense. Leave me alone.
yes. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. Like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the flow of me, because I like to talk abstractly, and Ryan likes to talk very like directly.
Concretely.
Yeah, whatever the fucking word is you're gonna say. And Mike don't likes hearing both, and I think he works best with both. So I think in general, right? Like if I don't know, if we just pitch out like concepts, and then Ryan comes in and just like details it, and then use this as a recording to come back and look at. But all the while we're doing it, we talk in a way that is like we've already created this episode, right? So every
Cool.
time someone listens to the podcast, they think that we've already created it, because nobody's gonna listen to it until like this thing's like a big deal, right?
We should do like,
Wow.
how it's the
Says a man who claims to have listened.
did
to
No,
it.
listen
you
to
know
the
how
first
it's,
episode, and I think the whole appeal of it is the fact that you treat it like you've already created it. So if you use this as the notes
Yeah,
for what you want to create the episode,
Mike,
then you'll have a million ideas. What do you want to
Yeah.
take?
I cracked it. The problem is, like, we haven't set the most important rule in like that. It's like every idea wins unless there's a better idea.
Yeah,
So like whatever someone says about a thing, unless like I can override it with lore or everyone wants a better thing to happen, then that's like just what happens. Do you know what I mean?
it's the free
And I think
marketplace
that's,
of
like,
ideas.
Like
Happy to be here.
instead of me Well, that's why the character motivations are so important. So that like when we do say something would happen, Mike Allen can say something like, no, Mr. Green wouldn't do that because he
That's
would do
true.
this,
Yeah.
right? So that like anytime there's a no, there's a because,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Well, I completely agree, but
it feels all
doesn't it
new
need
and
to be
different.
broken down in scenes? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, go.
What's crazy is that you're creating a show
Well,
about everything and nothing at the same time, and that you're trying to create a structure
Suck it,
that's
Jerry
never been
Seinfeld.
done before. I mean, it's super wild, and I think my brain has like, and Ryan, I think you can attest to this too. Your brain has moments of like switching back and forth, where you'll be like, I totally know what the I'm talking, like what Mike's talking, and then it'll switch back to like, this is how you normally do things. You have to go through that. So I'm sorry, my brain is like adjusting because I normally do these at work, right? So I do apologize for that.
No, I agree.
Well,
I oscillate between thinking Mike is like a genius
Yeah.
and being like he's saying absolutely goddamn nothing.
I know,
There's
I know,
nothing
it
happening
pisses me
here.
off. Like, I called him a genius at the beach. I like actually admitted to it because I was just so messed up. And was like, "You're so smart," but also I think you're not at the same
You're a
time.
complete moron. Yeah. So this
the dumbest man in the world.
yeah, this part cannot be cut out of the pod. Well, I mean, I feel like what is required though is scenes in a way. I do like, well, talking about the podcast or whatever and how we can go through it. I do like the idea of the office review show. Like Pam and Angela from the office. They have like, there's all these review podcasts where people go over like, oh, and this is how this was shot. I like your idea that we're doing that just like in reverse.
Right.
That is funny to me. That we're like generating it and we're like, oh yeah, and
The
then
world's backwards.
this is how like we only had 2 takes for Kevin to drop the chili
Yeah,
because
good.
like this was we couldn't ruin the carpet or whatever it is. I think that that's funny to consider. I think that what we need to do though is create scenes.
Yeah,
right?
100%. I know.
Right.
Like to generate them in these moments.
Yeah.
Because I think opening up with The Office, I think opening up at Dispatch makes a lot of sense to me if like every episode per what Mike said, well, one of you opening up at every like the symmetry of an episode like being the same like The Office, because I feel like The Office is, just taking that as an example because it popped in my head, is like shittiest when they're not in the office. Like I mean, sometimes they like the episodes can be brilliant and interesting, but like often, especially at the end, it's like, why are we not just watching them in the office? Because like this is what the show is about. So I think like the dispatch to planet movement is really important, and I like the idea of having like a trillion different groups introduced in a way. I think that is funny to, per what you said, Mike, like get everyone's motivations out in the open. Because I feel like if Cheyenne is there, she's there for a different reason than Tracy would be. And like all these groups would be there for different reasons. And then I think if there's like a conflict that basically amounts to nothing, I like the symmetry that provides for like the show at large. It's like there is nothing here, but like there's a conflict because like everyone has decided there's a conflict based on their own motivations, but like intrinsically they're fighting over basically nothing.
Yeah, he gets it. He gets it, boys.
Yeah, basically. And so to that point, and I'll bring it up at the end or whatever, but like, so I have sent you guys some scenes and I'll send it to you again. I do have a storyboard of all this out of like some of it of them in like the cantina, and like this is what we got to work out what to exactly show you guys. It was like, oh, everyone's in this place and they're all just, we need to think about what they're saying to each other based on the scene that just happened, right? Because like I know what they say to each other in the key moments. So what we need to do is figure out the scenes, and then we put ourselves in the scenes, and then it's all gold because we have what they need to do, right? And the big beats are done properly and stuff like that, right? And then we get to have a lot of fun with like exactly what the exact names of all of the different organizations that all of these people, you know what I mean? And we're cataloging it all in the codex. So we're going to have, every episode's going to have more and more crap in it because we're building on top of each other, right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like every time we introduce a character, to Mike's point about the grasshopper, well, obviously grasshopper is from a species of grasshopper people, right? Like he's not just there, right? Or maybe he is if someone has a good reason for that. But I have a good reason that he's from a group of grasshopper people, because then I can have that grasshopper guy and start making different meshes based on that one guy, and we have a whole planet of grasshoppers.
Yeah, the idea is to make Mike's job from an animation stance as easy as possible from a very innovative story creating. So that it's just like you said, you're gonna stop the back.
Yeah, if we need to keyframe animate something because it's the coolest thing of all time, like that's what
Yeah.
we're gonna do. Do you know what I mean? But like so much of this, just everything they're doing in Hollywood is wrong, right? Like the volume is more of a reason to storyboard, not less of a reason to storyboard. Do you know what I mean? And so
Well, I also like the
that's
idea
not the
though of like a bunch of different kinds of aliens, wherein because I was trying to remember, I thought about this earlier as well, just like I don't have the example in my mind, but like if you go to a planet and it's just like licorice, like
Yeah,
the
that's
people are
fine.
all licorice or
Yeah, they can be
something.
little.
And I
Yeah.
think
yeah.
no, right, but I like if the people are licorice, I like the idea that like every like sentient being is treated with respect, except for robots for reasons of the Robo-Human War and
I
like the
forgot about
cataclysm that
this.
fell
What
out
you
of that.
doing it for?
No, but I think that that's interesting if like we go to this planet and like the sheriff is being like shit on for being a robot or just like some kind of like old school animatronic, and there's like a bunch of different alien species that are all like respected as people with like sentience or whatever.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very we don't have to get into it right now, but like obviously Green's uh Mr. Green, sometimes confusion as to whether Mr. Green is an alien or a robot. And Mr. Green definitely wants to be seen as as an alien. Like he wants people to know he's an alien, not a robot, right? And we assume for
Yeah.
social reasons, you know what I mean? But like obviously social reasons. I guess we don't have to assume for social
I think at some
reasons.
point he's a
Mhm.
time traveler too.
So I know that the captain is from
Yeah.
the past, but I don't descriptively like the idea of time travel. Like I don't know that I want a million time travel-y
I mean, not
things
until way
happening.
later.
Do you guys
Like
love
that's
time
like
travel?
season 50 stuff. Yeah.
Love time
Well,
travel,
I
but
mean,
I think that we kind of touched on it. I think last episode was it, but I feel like there's, or maybe just in a phone conversation we had, but I think that like the idea that Earth now, as we have like our present day Earth, whatever where like Tracy and the Rangers come from, is being like sent off, I think could be kind of like time capsules in my mind, where you know you like would bury something and then you come back to it. I like the idea that like us humans now would create some kind of like forward projected time travel. We're just like, we're gonna send this box to the future and see what happens. And then they progress further with that, but then they're like, okay, we're gonna send this cargo container to the future. And like in that cargo container was a truck, and in that truck was Tracy and his dog, and they didn't realize that a human was in it, and it was like, okay, like now he's just in the future. Or if you wanted to have it where they go back and like are gathering warriors for the Robo-Human War, then they're like, okay, we're going to like pump out these people. And that's kind of where like you don't have to go back to the past, but you still have time travel where you're like, I don't know, a man out of a fishbowl.
Yeah. Bro. Perfect.
No, I
There's your
think that's
story right
great.
there. There it is. Boom. I told you. I told you. You just had to like, if you had to find that little nugget that he wanted, and that's what it was. He's like, this is what he thought.
Literally,
Boom.
yes.
There's how time travel fits into him coming back.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. That works so well. Like before this was the economy of nothing and it was just like some weird script. Like originally it was like a guy who was on like the first like faster than light ship and like he like fell off or something. So he showed up a little
Uh-huh.
better. A guy he just gets drunk, he just want to drive his truck, so he sleeps in the back of it
Yeah.
and then he's in the future.
Well, I feel like that gives what you want, where like the kids are the real like lens through which we are discovering the world as new, right?
Well, let Mike go. He's gonna
So
blow.
Okay. So
Like,
I think this, like,
speak your
you fall
truth.
asleep in the back of the truck. Your dog's in the back of the truck. Not only do you go back in time and come to the future, but through that time travel, that's what makes Mississippi sentient. So the second this show starts, like whenever the backstory of you gets shot, right? That's when Mississippi leaves you because now she's sentient. And then that's how you work her into the show. And then we come back to her later.
Yes. Yes, I think it's a little bit like in my mind there's a little longer of a time gap. They go and like hang out at the beach for a little bit, and then the dog's like, "Well, now I'm a smart dog. I
Yeah.
can't
Okay.
do
Yeah.
this anymore." Right? It
Yeah.
gives it a little bit of time. Um, the thing that I was going to say, I forgot, but it was about the same thing you were saying. So I'll just keep talking like this for a second, but it's not coming to me. I'll give you that.
Well, but that
I
also is
couldn't
it's
tell you what it
interesting
was.
because it gives Mississippi. I mean, LOL, where's Mississippi? It gives Mississippi a motivation. It gives like Mississippi their own motivation, and Captain Tracy his own motivation, and like these motivations have changed over time. I think that's why, like, pretty quickly, I would imagine the Rangers should move from their motivations to like having one. I think like not that they can't just be doing what they're like
They're
they're
tough and brave.
chaper.
Okay,
Well, their
listen. All right,
chaperone
listen.
can
You want
be under the purview of their chaperone because that's what children are. But I think also their like approach to going to a
okay?
planet where they're
By
like, I don't want to be
episode
on this planet.
6,
Yeah.
by episode 6, we have a character, a ranger-driven episode. It's an Alex-specific episode. Do you want to write it?
Dude,
Just
I got
muted, so I
nothing.
have
The
no notes.
Rangers, and you seem to know it all about them. So we're
No,
right.
okay.
We'll take it.
I'm not saying I know all about the
Well,
Rangers. I'm just saying I think it's useful. We can. Well, how about we get to episode 6 when we get to episode 6? You feel me?
whoa! I thought you wanted to define these motivations real
No,
soon,
I
bud.
just think that the Rangers and everyone else should have like competing motivation. Like I think if you're in this shootout scene, picturing like a 7-way standoff, right? And then like what do the Rangers because they're one of the main characters, right? Like even more than the other factions. So what do they think about this? Maybe one of them is like, yeah, we're in a shootout. Or maybe one of them is like, let's stop the violence. I don't know. I feel like those approaches are very different and make for like different characters, unless you want them to just be like a conglomerate, like they're both into it.
So I totally hear where you're coming from, and I do think that should be expanded on. But from my point of view, in episode 1, the Rangers aren't even there. Like I think the Rangers are, like, for one, like yeah, I think it would start out with like the captain trying to protect them from stuff like where like actual gunfire is and stuff, and then slowly work them into the team. Because then there could be that like I don't know. I just don't think they have to be in the first episode. They could show up later, like when they return back to the hub, and then in the next episode they're in it. You know what I mean?
So I think what we should probably do, and this is like a shorter episode than usual, but I think that like we should put a pin in it right here because we are right around a thing where I'm like, I just need to show you guys some stuff, right? Like the things we're talking about, like what are the Rangers doing? They're in the little house that Mr. Green's on top of, and I have
Oh, I
pictures
didn't even
of.
know
You
they
know
were
what I mean?
there. I don't
And
think they
so
weren't there. I'm sorry.
I think that's probably what I'll like get up on the YouTube channel this week is the clip of their time on Brenner 7 that I have storyboarded out, right? And then we can start talking about, based on what they're doing, what their motivations, because I have the Rangers doing specific things, right? And I think when we all see that and the listeners can have a chance to look at it, I think it'll become like, yeah, why do they want to go help Captain Tracy when they open the doors and see him sword fighting,
Yeah.
right?
Oh wait, that's episode
But
2.
to
Oh, sorry, forget.
yes, so that's inside of the
Dude,
trash
isn't there
mountain.
something about food and like how they didn't want to eat? And I'm like, you should eat so you have all your energy. Mr. Green says that to the Rangers, and then they're like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, but then like one of them can't complete a task because he didn't eat the sandwiches Mr. Green made for him. I think that was it. I don't think.
I don't want to say anything. Like everything's still on the table, but as of right now, the scene you pitched to me about sandwiches and the scene that Ryan pitched to me about the Rangers vaping are both
Well,
are both
they should
currently
be
on the
vaping.
cutting room
Oh
floor.
yeah,
So Ryan, before Mike Allen gets attacked by our huge fan base, that they just saw that season 7 finale and they're all back here watching listening to this old stuff. Ryan, that was very unfamily friendly of you before the podcast started. You had him vaping. Do you remember this at all? That's kind of what I remember. They were arguing about vaping.
Yeah, I wrote a scene about it. I don't. I'm trying to remember the vaping, or if it was like Mr. Green smoking. They were complaining about, I think one of them was vaping because they were like filling the car with smoke.
I did the thing that I like, but there's stuff out of that I did take, right? Like, oh, we have to think about the windows cracking, right? And that's why they
And
have to have
calling
helmets on, right?
shotgun.
In case you have to roll down the windows, right?
I don't even know how I'm contributing.
Uh,
I know Mike just said he has it all planned out. God damn it.
No,
Mike
but like,
does have it all
no,
planned
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
but like, here's the thing. Here's the thing that bothers me with the everyone calling me a genius these days, right?
You're starting
It's
to
like,
link it.
We also called you an
listen to me.
idiot. Those two are
That's-
coexist.
Like, I'll be like, you guys can do this. And you're like, no, Mike, you're the smartest guy I know. I'm like, then listen to me. But,
You're not the
but no.
smartest guy I know.
No, but I'm sorry, Ryan. You're the smartest guy you know. You see in the mirror every day. I get it, Ryan. He's good looking too. And
Just good.
no, I forgot where I was going with it. But no, now I understand that like this is you guys are. I didn't know where we were all together, right? And now I know that we are all on the same page. I could have shown you more of the stuff the things that I have on YouTube right now. You guys are all past that, right? So homework for people listening, watch all the stuff on YouTube because we are past every visualization that's in there now, I guess, right? So
Well, I mean, ultimately,
there's
all
that.
of these things are in your mind, Mike. So I feel like if you provide the tent poles, then we can like put up more of the tent with you or something.
And
you know, like,
I'm really
because there are
hoping
things that you see as definitively happening. So like, but the dynamics, I remember like I wrote something where like the Rangers were not his nephews. And then you were like, "That's not how this is going." And I was like, "Well,
That's
I
what I
don't
mean. There's a
know how
clear
it's going."
bias towards because they're his nephews. Like, if you want to write it, like, either that's either a great thing from a writing standpoint, but the problem is you have to be the one that adds all the details for that. You know, if they are like it's purely inspired by your nephew.
yeah, I think you guys are like honestly like thinking about it too much. Like what is really going to come down to once we're all there is like pitching funny and cool lines to each other, right? Because they're all standing there and I know basically how it goes, but like I'd like the captain to say something that better than "Hey, y'all, calm down a minute." You know what I
So
mean?
is
I'd
what
like it to
you,
be
but so
funner,
is what
but
you
I need
want dialogue?
You want me to
yeah, I
give? You want me to
think.
Okay.
write your
But like
dialogue, and you write my dialogue,
no, I
or Ryan
no,
writes
like
my
have you guys ever
dialogue,
seen
and
Curb
write
Your
Cheyenne's dialogue?
you guys ever seen Curb Your
Yeah, I
Enthusiasm?
just watched the clip
No.
the other day.
Okay, so like my understanding of how they do is they don't have a script for the scene, right? But they have like Larry David writes like key phrases that he knows need to go like refrain throughout the episode and like sorry, am I?
If you're about to compare our writing ability to that of a genius of Larry David, as renowned as one of the best comedic writers of all time, I want you to know you're going to be disappointed. Okay, just I don't think like
No, I'm not comparing us to Larry David. I'm comparing myself to Larry David. Like no. Like but like I think the improv, I think we can do the improv and I think part of being able to do the improv is like us all being together and knowing the characters and like some of the characters like just having traits we know, right? That's part of the reason why it's like it's my nephews and they have traits I know. So when we're here trying to improv scenes together and I have to like say the Ranger's name and say a thing they're doing, like in my imagination, I can pull from like things that happened,
Okay,
right?
but
So like if Mr. Green has kids and we're like writing a scene, like you have a Rolodex of things that like a guy might say when he's
I get
upset
what you're
that like
saying.
his
You
kids
just need
did
our
something at home,
sayings.
right?
You just need
Like
our sayings. You
yeah,
said
I
them.
need the sayings, but I also like I want to make sure that all the names of the organizations are funny and stuff, right? And unless I talk to them about other people, I won't know if they're funny. You know what I mean? I just
No,
want
you're
to
fine.
like
Mike, you're a genius. Just keep going. All right.
I hate this. I'm canceling this entire endeavor.
It's like we argue
No,
with
I don't
her,
think you
and
need
then
to
he won't
cancel the
argue,
endeavor.
right? Like, no, you're a genius. Just keep going. You're good. You're good. That's what to do, Mike.
No, it sounds like what you need then, Mike, is like a scene laid out, which you already say you have and which we've seen probably in like various YouTube videos or whatever. These scenes laid out where we just approach one, let's say. How does that sound? Like with the Mr. Green and Tracy and the two kids, or with like this group of outlaw, whatever. Like, I feel like we should just try to think about one thing and like get a flow.
I feel like
for
Ryan's
ourselves of
pretty
what
good
you
read
want.
on the characters now. I think if you knowing everything we talked about from this episode, if Ryan, you could write the episode and then pass it off to Mike. Mike makes, some of the changes that he sees a little bit fit for Tracy, and then I think you probably got me pinned, so I don't think I'll do many changes. But if maybe like I need to change a saying, or I could just be like, he would say this in this moment or something. Like personally, he's the best like linguist here, dude. Like he can write stuff. He's thinking about like story structures and like juxtapositions and all this bullshit. And algo, I don't know. You said like algo.
Drink.
The only word y'all know is juxtaposition. It's crazy. This came up a lot last episode too.
That's what Mike used the other day too. He said he loved it.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, no, I think what'll really clear this up, I'll send this out to you guys, but I think we'll focus just on the point will be we'll look at the Brenner 7 stuff, and I'll have stuff set up for you next week. I'll have the camera live. We'll move the camera around and we'll see where people are, and I'll be like, I think they should walk down this street, and then a bullet comes this way.
Oh, dude, what if that's how the episode
Right?
goes? It's just us talking about how the episode should go, and then the episode is happening. And it's like, it's
Yeah,
like
have you been paying
animated.
any attention? No, yeah, but like,
Genius.
yeah, like why not? Like this is an hour. Like I can multitask. I can talk to you guys and do this.
Yeah, it's just like, do you think there should
Well,
be
so, like,
a
that's
sniper up at the
that's the
tower
only-
up ahead? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Is he gonna shoot?
But like it's playing like at a certain point the way I'm doing it and we're scaling it properly, it's doodles and then playing with action figures, right? And then all my sauce on the top.
Your
right?
sauce.
But what I
Your
should have said,
Sounded
hey,
sick.
this is a
You're
family friendly
sick
podcast.
freak.
Yeah, but
Your
the creamy
sauce.
sauce.
Do people not say sauce anymore? People aren't with the sauce anymore?
No, you're
Oh,
sounding like a
well, yeah.
boomer, not a zoomer.
Yeah,
I am middle aged
when's
in
the
the
last time
codex.
you log on Grindr, Mike? Jesus.
It's been a while. Not since me and Ryan matched and it was weird. Okay,
really
so everyone,
creepy.
what I should have said at like the beginning of the podcast is economyofnothing@gmail.com. Let us know what you think we should do. Because I get like,
Yeah,
what do
and
you think?
also we have a
Let us know.
Patreon too. Yeah, so that probably can help.
This I've been dropping we all day. You notice?
I
My
mean,
intellectual
I
property
think
comes with
that
the price.
I've never logged into the Patreon, but I expect a monthly check. With
Yeah,
a third
once
of
that
the
thing is
revenue.
rolling. Yeah.
I promise you guys, no
A salary?
less the exact amount right now. No, I would love. I guess, but like the first thing I would do is like I guess pay you guys for
Yes.
your time, right? Because that's the first thing to do. Pay the labor you
Yeah.
have now. Anyway, not much though. I don't know.
Yeah, like,
I'm gonna
dude,
incorporate
cover
in
server
the
costs
cheapest
and stuff
cheapest
first, like,
state.
rolling. I ain't worried about it until it's like a confused people.
All right. Well, we're gonna figure all this out. Thanks for coming us on the journey, Mike Allen. Thanks for joining us this time.
You know what?
Okay. He
Listen,
left.
I'm always counting credits in the void economy.
He's always counting credits in the void economy. He's always the #1 fan of your girl Cheyenne. Ryan, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
That sounded like an intro, but I'm doing an outro. Ryan, thanks for joining
You're
us.
welcome. I think that I might need a line in the theme song in season 2 or 3 because I need a catchphrase.
Damn,
Yeah,
girl.
he does. We got to find something for Cheyenne.
It's a woman character.
Yeah, you're right. Damn girl will be my catchphrase.
If two women talk about
Can Cheyenne,
Mr. Green,
can
does that pass
Cheyenne
the
just be
Bechdel
like
test?
in the car with the Rangers in the bag?
Yeah, all the time.
All right. Oh, boy. All right, we'll have to talk about Cheyenne at
I'm
some
just
other
saying,
point. But
we are
everyone, if
missing
you'd
a
like to
good
know
chick.
more,
Like we don't have any chick. So it's a real sausage party in that car.
This is going to be an ongoing
Yeah, like-
conversation. All of the fans, longtime fans, will know that Mike and I are very strongly in agreement that there should be women in this show. And other Mike hates women.
Yes.
Mike Allen hates women. He must be the other Mike. That's
No,
great.
Mr. Green. Mr. Green wants Cheyenne.
Mr. Green and Cheyenne are in complete agreement.
Yeah.
We don't even know. Mr. Green's kids could both be boys.
No. Unless you want them to be. I'm not in charge of
I
Mr.
wish I had
Green's
that cricket
storyline.
app up.
Oh no, I like a good ramble at the start. Ramble. We sounded very good right in the middle, and that's the sweet spot.
God.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Economyofnothing.com, patreon.com/theeconomyofnothing, youtube.com/@economyofnothing, and economyofnothing@gmail.com. If I didn't forget something, whatever, man, forget about it. We're not on social media. What are you doing? Get off that shit. Dude, bleeps are funnier than not bleeps. South Park got less funny when they were allowed to curse all the
I
time.
agree.
I think that we just need to know what you want from us, Mike. I think starting small with a single scene or whatever is probably ideal.
Yes,
In my view.
I think we should do one of two scenes, honestly, as we continue the podcast. We should either do the one where they run out of the truck, so we can come up with things while they're saying while they run, jump in the truck, and get away, and the Skull Pirates come down the elevator, or we can do Brenner 7. You guys can pick. I'll put a poll on Patreon that no one will vote on, so we'll just pick at some other point. But I'll make sure that it's up on our YouTube, whatever you pick will be up on the YouTube channel before the next episode, so you
I
can
think
have a chance
too,
to
it's
watch
like
it.
you take the feedback from setting up the scene, and then you make the video of the scene, and then get to show us the scene in the next episode. That would help.
And then we
No,
get the money.
then
I
that would help
understand.
you can expand upon more scenes and like all the
Yes.
stuff. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
This part has to be hard. Like things aren't easy, everybody. Like, do you know what I mean? Until you know what you're doing, and then they're super easy. If everyone just took the time to learn a thing, you'd realize everything's not too tough. I'm not attacking you guys. I thought the podcast was over. But
It is
He's
over.
still
All right,
recording.
everybody. But yeah, once we can break one scene, then we can break 2 scenes, then we can break 4 scenes, then we can break 64 scenes.